Good morning. My name is Edgar Marumbu, Public Relations Office, Kisii University. I've been the one talking to you on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on SMS, on the bulk SMS. Some of you received SMS from us talking about what needs to be done. So welcome to Kisii University. Let me take this earliest opportunity to say that I think I'm one of the very first people to welcome you, other than, of course, the registrar who welcomed you through the admission letter. We are excited here at Kisii University that you're going to be joining us in just a few weeks, and we are working so hard to be able to prepare for you and to make sure that your time as you come in to join will be amazing. We know you've come from different places in the country and you have a lot of adventures that you're bringing into Kisii, and we say welcome. As Kisii University family, we appreciate you being with us, and we say thank you for choosing to join with us. As you may have noticed, Kisii University is one of the most preferred university, having registered 8,632 students showing interest in us. That's the largest number in the country. That means you are coming to the right place, and many of you have seen good things here. That's why you're coming. Back to the topic of the day. Today we'll be handling two things. One, we'll be talking about how to get through your online admission in the university. And number two, we are also going to be talking about how to ensure that you apply for the higher education fund, because mark my words, please, it is very necessary that you apply for the higher education fund. If you don't, it means you're going to have a very hard time financing your education if you are not able, or if your parents are not able, financially speaking. So this is something that all of us should be looking towards. Right now, a lot of people have been struggling to do that, and there have been some challenges. We've had a discussion on national TV just 2 days ago, and you've had the challenges that were there, but you've also had that the process is continuing to become seamless as it goes. So keep on trying and make sure you are able to apply for that fund, and we will show you how here. To begin with, allow me share my screen so that you're able to see at what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about it, and you can be able to follow and see what I'm doing. Now, coming to Kisii University is a very easy process, because we try to make it easy for students to be able to join us. You do most of the work at home. Once you do most of the work at home, when you come to Kisii University, it is only simple for you to come and drop your forms, and then we admit you to class. You will have completed everything. Now, let me share my screen. I hope you can all see my screen. And what you can see right now, is the home page of where you've been getting your admission letters. And that is where I want us to start, because this is where your journey coming to Kisii University commences. I have prepared one dummy student to use as an example so that you are able to see what we keep talking about in the messages. And I'm going to walk you through what you're supposed to do. So if you're a new student who has not done anything completely, when you reach this point, and you reach this point very simply by going to our website, digital.kisiiuniversity.ac.ke. Once you go there, you go to Initiate and Monitor Admissions. That is your tab to go. So once you click that, you'll find yourself here. If you find yourself here, you can see the instructions that are listed on the screen. All you need to do, first of all, is to put your index number here. So I will put my dummy index number. That's a dummy student. It's not a real student that I will use to explain. So yours will be in form of something like index number stroke 2022, because your KCSE year was 2022. Once you put your dummy student number, your index number there, you click search. It will load and it will isolate. You will see this something like this on your screen once you search. Hello, congratulations, so and so. Mine is a dummy. On your admission to Bachelor of Arts, your admission number is this. You can download admission documents here. Then you will go here where it says download admission letter, and you click download. If you click download, it will immediately download your admission letter. And you can see from my tab here, my admission letter has been downloaded. I will open it at some point. Then you come here, you download your fee structure. Here where it says download fee structure, you click here and it will load and your fee structure will be downloaded. And you can see here, it says fee structure downloaded. We will open it at some point. Then once you're done with that, you've examined your fee structure, you've examined your admission letter, and you are comfortable with what you've seen so far, you come to log into your account. Remember, the first 2 steps have only given you the admission letter and the fee structure. You've not done anything yet. You're not yet completely our student. So you come here to direct log into my account to self-admit. This is where you start the journey to do your online admission. When you click here, it will also load again, and it will transfer you to the next page of your personal account. Now that is your account for admission. You will see 3 things. 1, accept your admission and continue to build your profile to report. Number 2, defer till the next academic year. And lastly, reject or decline the admission to avoid reporting. Let me caution, when you reject, it means you have rejected your offer. That means the university will strike you off its register and you may not have another place to go. So you can only do this if you are sure you have another plan. Maybe you're going out of the country, your parent has organized for you to get studies elsewhere, etc. Number 2, when you're doing the defer tab, the second tab up there, it means you're not able to report this academic year, and this academic year is 2023-2024, but you are going to consider reporting in the next academic year, which will be 2024-2025. That means if you're not able to report with this cohort of first years, you will come in with the next cohort of first years as they join next year. That is what the meaning of the defer button is. But because I want to join this September, I will click accept there, and then I will click continue. It will load, and it will take me to the account. I will continue and be reading the instructions that you see on the different parts of the site. And it will take me to my first place where I have to fill the admissions details. Now let me explain, because this is where I will complete this process for the admission into the university. A lot of you are asking questions about, I don't know where KSU 6 is, I don't know where KSU 5 is, I don't know where KSU 4 or KSU 3 is. You are asking a lot of questions around that. This is how you get those forms. You fill in the details. Once you reach here, you will start here. For example, you will start with dummy here, and then the middle name is dummy. You fill in the details. Permanent address, I would say, for example, Kitui. Let me use Kisii because I'm in Kisii right now. Kisii. Current address is Kisii also. Index number, I will put in my index number, stroke 2022. PO box, I'll put in the university's PO box because I'm at the university. 408 4200. Telephone number, I will put in telephone number, blah, blah, blah. That is just random, it's not a right one. Nearest town, it is Kisii town. So I will look for Kisii town. Where is Kisii town? I will look for Kisii town. There you go. Nice. Nearest district of birth, Kisii again. I will choose that. The university was born in Kisii, so I will pick Kisii. Just a minute. We're getting closer. Where is Kisii? Kisii. Okay, I can't see Kisii quickly enough, so I'm going to choose an easier one. Once all the parts have been filled, you click continue. You can see it's giving me a message that you have to fill all the asterisk required information to move forward. It means there is one that I have not filled. So I will close and go back, and I will realize which one I have not filled. So I will make sure this is filled. I will make sure this district is also filled. I will pick one that is closer, and then I will run a quick check around to see any that is not filled. Then I will submit. It is loading. It has been submitted. Then I click next. It is loading. Wonderful. Now it goes to the next step, which is looking for personal details. And then I will again go through the process of making sure I fill all the tabs. Once I fill all the tabs and have reached the sponsor telephone as the end, I click submit. Then I click next, over and over and over until I reach the end. It will take you from step to step to step until you reach a place where you are asked to now put in payment details. When you reach where it has said put in payment details, it means you are almost done. You are almost there. That means now you have to go to the bank, pay in what is on your fee structure, and then come back and then put in the payment detail. That is the receipt number and the amount of money that you've paid. Once you do that, it will open your new account. You will be officially admitted online, and you'll be able to download your admission documents. At that particular point, you are ready to report. Let me give a few pointers. Remember when I said that I am going to at least share with us a little bit about the admission letter. So I'm going to open the admission letter quickly, the one that I've downloaded. You can all see this admission letter, and it has some things that I need you to take note of. Let's start by this part, this table that says category, scholarship, etc. I want you to take this table very seriously. In the next discussion, which is happening immediately after this one, I'm going to be talking about how to apply for the higher education fund. But this is how you're supposed to pay your fees. If you end up in category 1, which is vulnerable, we are going to understand what that means. The government pays for you 82% of the fees, and HELB pays for you 18% of the fees. And the household, that means your house or your home or your parents, pay nothing. And then on top of that, the government also sends you 44,000 shillings for upkeep. That 44,000 shillings, that is your money. That is the money you'll be using to survive in the semester, in the academic year. If you are extremely needy, 70% of your fee that we put on your fee structure, which we are going to see, is also paid by the government as a scholarship. 30% of this fee is paid by HELB. You pay nothing as a household. Then the government on top of that sends 39,000 shillings to you as an upkeep. That means that is your money to pay rent, that is your money to buy books, that is your money to buy food, that is your money to survive. If you end up in category 3, which is needy category, and we will see what category means what and how it is brought, 53% of the scholarship is paid for by the government. That means government will pay 53% of your fees. Then HELB will pay 40% of your fees. Then your household, that means your father, your mother, your guardian, your parents, or if you're supporting yourself, it is yourself, you will pay 7% of that fees. And we will see how much this is. And then the government will, on top of that, send you 29,000 shillings as upkeep. That 29,000 shillings, that is your money to survive across the semester. It is what you'll use, for example, to food, etc. Then when you end up in category 4, less needy category, you will be given 38% scholarship from the government, 55% scholarship from HELB Loan, and 7% will come from your house. That means your parents will be able to pay that to the university directly. That is the money I'm talking about when I say, if you've reached where it is saying payment details on the university admission form, that is the 7% that you put there. And then the government will again send 24,000 shillings to you for upkeep. I think with this understanding, you'll realize that if your fee, for example, is 225,000, it does not mean that your parent is supposed to pay 225,000. It means you go to apply for the WW Higher Education Fund. Once you apply to the end, you will end up in one of the 4 categories. You might end up as vulnerable, you might end up as extremely needy, you might end up as needy and as less needy. And if you end up in any one of those categories, the government will pay accordingly to the percentages it has put, and it will send you some money to use to be able to, get yourself upkeep. And then if you end up in the last 2, number 3 and 4, it means you have to pay 7% of your fees. That means 7% of 225,000. Or if your fee is, for example, you're doing medicine, and the fee is 400,000, that means 7% of 400,000. If you're doing Bachelor of Arts, then the fee is 122,000, it means 7% of 122,000. You're going to see how much this actually means. So we're going to open one fee structure. Okay, before we open that, let me see if there's anything else. These are steps that we have used to guide you to be able to apply for your admission. So you continue. This is what I've just explained right now. So I'm going to open a fee structure from the dummy student in a dummy course so that you see what it means. Now, this is a fee structure that you can download where I have shown you. Remember when I was showing you how to download the admission letter and where you download the fee structure. When you download, this is what will come. And this is what it looks like. So it will tell you that your fee, your yearly fee is 122,485. And it will also tell you, make sure you have applied for government scholarship and loan as guided in your admission letter. This information is in your admission letter as well. Please read it and ensure you apply. Because remember, if you do not apply, it means the government will assume that you are able and you do not need the government support. That means you need to pay for that money all alone, you and your parents. That is what the government interprets by you not applying. So you need to apply. Because if you do not apply, the university expects you to pay that money in full. And that means the government also expects you to do that because it assumes that you are paid. So for example, for this student who is taking the course of Bachelor of Arts and the course costs 122,000 shillings per year, if the student ends up under vulnerable, the government will pay 60,000 shillings for first semester. It will pay 13,000 shillings for first semester from HELB. And that person will pay nothing. If he is extremely needy, it will pay 51,000 shillings for first semester, and the HELB will pay 22,000 shillings, and for that semester, the household will pay nothing. If the student is needy, the government will pay 38,950 shillings, and HELB will pay 29,396, and that student's house will pay 5,144 shillings. If the student is less needy, the government scholarship will pay 27,926,000. The HELB will pay 40,420 shillings, and that student's household, that means parents, will pay 5,000 shillings. And for the second semester, the government will pay 40,000 shillings, 175. HELB will pay 8,000 shillings, 818, and that student's household will pay nothing. If they are extremely needy for the second semester, the government scholarship will pay 34,295. HELB will pay 14,698, and that student's household will pay nothing. If they're needy for the second semester, the student's scholarship will pay from the government 25,966, from HELB 19,597, and that student's household will pay 3,429. If they're less needy, the scholarship from the government will pay 18,617, HELB will pay 26,946 from the loan, and the student's household will pay 3,429 shillings. You can see from the 122,485, if a student applies for the government scholarship and loan through higher education fund, ultimately what they're going to pay per year is only 8,429 shillings from the parent's pocket. The rest comes from scholarship and HELB. That is the most expensive person. That means if you are less needy, that means you're the one who is paying the most amount of money. You will be able to pay only 5,144 for first semester and 3,429 for second semester. Combination of about 8,400 shillings, 500 shillings for the entire year. That means if you calculate that 8,500 times 4 years, it means for the 4 years, you will be only able to pay about 40,000 and a few hundreds on top there as your fees for the 4 years. The rest is coming from the government scholarship and the HELB. And remember, these you're also being added the upkeep from the government. That means you can even assist your parent to pay from the upkeep that will be given by the government if you are not able, if you come from a family that is not able. But you will realize that if you are not that able completely, it means you might end up falling in the category of vulnerable or extremely needy, and then you will not be required to pay anything from your household. All the monies will come from the government through scholarship and through HELB. But this is only on condition that you have applied for the higher education fund. So you must apply. If you do not apply, this money will not come to you. It means you will pay the entire 122,000 shillings, 485 shillings. So it is important that you pay, that you apply for the housing, for the higher education fund, for you to be able to pay. Now let's transition and go to the higher education fund, and we see what it actually means to be there, so that we can see these categories come out and how the government assists you for the categories to come out. I'm going to share my screen again so that you can see the higher education fund document, and then we will be able to look at the documents together. Just a minute as it shares. Okay. This is a little bit of information on the Higher Education Fund so that you can understand how the government comes to choose who is less needy, who is vulnerable, who is, extremely needy. The HELB means testing instrument. The MTI, I think you've heard this a few times, is applied to ensure that needy students are adequately supported. So HELB MTI scores students based on the following 8 parameters. Parameter number 1 is parents' background. That means it varies the weight that is assigned, whether a person is an orphan, he has single parents, he has divorced parents, he has separated parents. It will assign you some mark based on what you've put as information. Gender, it varies the weight, whether the parent is male or female, whether you have both, whether you have a single mother or a single father, it varies. The course type, remember, as you've noticed, different courses have different fees. So depending on which course, whether it is in the STEM category or in the arts, the STEM is the science and the mathematics types, and then arts is, of course, the social sciences. Previous school type, it will look at your previous school type, whether you were in a private school or in a public school. Expenditure on education, it will vary whether you have siblings who are in high school, who are in tertiary institutions, because that means your parent is paying more money other than the money that he's going to pay for you. Family size and composition, whether you have other brothers or sisters, whether you are alone, whether your father is polygamous, your mother is polyandrous, the age of your parents, etc. Marginalization, it varies whether students come from marginalized counties or the institution is in those areas, maybe in Garissa there, in Moyale up there, the far ends of the country. Then persons living with disability, it also varies whether the person is living with disability, and then it assigns you a mark. Criteria for funding students. This is how the criteria comes. Affirmative action part is the first one. Of course, we've talked about marginalized people. This is how it has been designated by the Commission for Revenue Allocation. That's a national parastatal that assists in doing things like that. And then persons living with disability, of course, we have the National Disability Board that usually assigns people who are living with disability to that. So that will be a factor in this as well. Number 2, household income bands. The income bands are classified into the following categories. It means if you are in category A, vulnerable, it means your household has no income, 0 income. That means you'll end up in category 1. If your income is extremely needy, it means your household income is 23,000 shillings 671 per month and below. So if your parent earns that going downwards, likely chances are you will end up under extremely needy. If you are needy, household monthly income of between 23,000 shillings and 70,000 shillings. If your parent earns between 23,000 and 70,000, it means you might end up under the needy category. Then the less needy category, household monthly income of between 70,000 to 200,000. So if your parent earns between 70,000 to 200,000, then you'll end up in the less needy category. Remember, this is not the only parameter. We talked about other things earlier on the 8 model. I'll just go back a minute here. The other thing that also determine the parameter, because your parent might be earning 300,000 shillings, but you are 12 of you in the house and all of you are in school. So ultimately, the amount of money that gets home is less than 23,000 shillings. So if that is the case, that means you will be able to be categorized there. And of course, other things that are going there, expenditure, etc. Now let's go to this next slide and look at what happens. We've talked about this. Now, in the new funding model, which is the model that you're using, when you are the vulnerable category, we've talked about you getting 82% scholarship from the government. That means 82% of your fees will be paid for by the government. Then 18% will be paid by loan, which is HELB. HELB will give you 18% of what remains, and your family will pay nothing when you are under the vulnerable category. If you're under the extremely needy category, 70% of your fees. So if your fees is 225,000 shillings, 70% of it will be paid for by the government as a scholarship. 30% of it will be paid for by HELB through loan. Household will pay nothing. You've already been financed by the government 100% when you are in extremely needy category and vulnerable category. If you're under needy category, scholarship from the government will take care of 53% of your tuition fees. So if your fees is 225 per year, 53% of that is coming from the government. Loan of 40% is taken care of by HELB. 40% of whatever remains is going to HELB. The remaining of 7% comes from your family. So you do 7% of 225. If you're under the less needy category, the government pays for 38% of your scholarship. 38% of your 225, if that is your fees, comes from the government as a scholarship. Then 55% comes from HELB loan. Then the remaining 7% comes from your family. But remember, guys, the rider to all this is only if you have applied. If you have not applied, it means the government is not going to bother with you. It will assume that you did not apply because you are able. That means your family can be able to support your 225,000 shillings fees if that is your fees for a year. So you have to apply. And where do we apply? Let me go to that website so that you are able to also appreciate that part and then know what you're supposed to do as the application. I'm loading, so just a minute and then it will come up. So this is, I hope you can see this. This is the higher education website that you're supposed to apply. The link is on your admission letter, www.hef.co.ke. You can see by this point here where it is saying 2023-2024 new funding application, 20 days remaining, and it is counting down. 20 days, 11 hours, 49 minutes, 42 seconds. It will count down like this until the 20 days elapse. Once they elapse, it means you cannot apply. That means the government will not fund you the way I have described. It means all the funding from your fees will come from your parent. So when you reach this website, you simply come here and click apply now. Once you click apply now, it will load. Then you will need to register. Once you register, you click register. You will put an admission now, an ID number there, and then you will continue. If you do not have an ID number, don't worry. That means you're not 18. You can still say no and then apply for the scholarship. Like this, and continue the registration. The only challenge is you will not be able to apply for HELB because HELB is a loan and the loan is a contract of money that you will pay back to HELB. You can only enter into a contract if you are 18 years and above. So you have to get to 18, get an ID before applying for a loan. So if you are below 18 years, you will only be able to apply for the scholarship. The government will give you the scholarship, but it is not locking you out. When you turn 18, you can apply for the HELB, and then you will be able to apply for the HELB. We have gotten so many requests about assistance on this website that it has been slow, it has not been reacting as it should be reacting, it is not going fast, it is refusing. Please be patient. Imagine 140-something thousand students, all of them are now on this website trying to apply the funding. It is really difficult and it is creating a lot of traffic on the website that is slowing it a little bit down. But this is being improved as we go by and as students continue applying and dropping off after application. So it will get easier, but keep trying. What I can advise right now is if you're applying and you're able to apply late in the night, maybe your brother or your father, your sister can get access to a laptop, and then you can apply late at night, say 2 a.m. at night when many people have slept. The traffic is much easier and you can be able to apply much faster. If you encounter challenges, I would like you to go below here to the website. You will find contacts, support line contacts. They will be able to respond to any of your challenges. We have info@ufb.go.ke. We have info@kust.ac.ke. We have the phone numbers here that they'll be able to assist you if you have a challenge, etc. or not. Remember, these are requirements for you to be able to apply. Whether you are undergraduate or TVET, you will also be able to see this and then you'll be able to apply. You need to have most of these things for you to go, for your application to go through. And mostly importantly, you need to have patience. You need to be really be patient for you to be able to go through this application, because if you go faster, it will frustrate you. Take your time, be comfortable. It might take you 1 or 2 days because of the traffic, but at the end of it, you can see it is worth it. It will assist you get a lot of support from the government, and you will be able to study without having a problem. It will also assist you be able to get money from the government that is going to assist you in your upkeep. If you are here in the university, you can buy for food, you can buy whatever your things, you can buy books, you can be comfortable without disturbing your parents. So be patient and apply for the higher education fund, and this will assist you get there. I'm gonna give a few room for questions, and then we will close this discussion. Because not everybody can be able to speak, I will look at the chat and see the questions that are there and then try to respond.